Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar. This is the weekly demo from Mural and my name is Emilia Åström and I will be your host today. I'm the Science Success Manager at Mural. And together we may also have Grace Portillo, who's Customer Success at Mural. Hi Grace, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? Ready for the weekly demo? Hope everyone is.
Great to hear. So before we start the demo, I would just like to point out a few things. In the middle of the webinar and in the end, we'll do a live Q&A session. So if you look in the control panel of the webinar software, you will find a Q&A pane where you can add your questions. So please go ahead and type in your questions throughout the webinar and we'll answer them towards the end of the webinar and in the middle as well. And this session is also being recorded. So if you go to our YouTube channel or the same page where you signed up for the webinar, mural.co/weekly demo, you will be able to find previous recordings and the recording from today. So if you find this webinar useful, I highly recommend you to invite your collaborators so they also get started with Mural. So before we start demonstrating the features, I just want to give a quick introduction to what Mural is. So you can look at Mural as a virtual whiteboard or an interactive canvas online where you can add different types of media content. So you can look at it as a big corkboard online that you can add different types of content to. So different teams use Mural for different types of activities like design thinking or project planning. There's also a lot of examples of teams using Mural for product development or even during development. So since Mural is a cloud-based application, everything will be saved automatically in the cloud and you can access it from wherever you want. So let's get started at some content. So when you enter a new mural, it will be totally blank, so you won't see anything on the mural. So you have to start filling it out yourself with content. So just a quick look first on the interface. So if you look on the top of the mural here, you will see the name of the mural that you're currently inside. And to the left, you have a menu with different icons where you can find different options for adding different types of content. And if you look on the right side, you'll see the share button where you can invite collaborators. So let's start adding some titles. So in today's demo, we're going to do a quick brainstorming session to demonstrate how Mural could be used. So today we're going to discuss how might we make remote teams closer. So I just dragged out the title here from the left toolbar to give like a headline or the question we're going to brainstorm about. You can also drag out text boxes and comments from here. And next we would like to start adding some sticky notes. So you can see here that you have different colors of sticky notes and you have different sizes as well. So you have both round ones and square ones. So if I want to add a new sticky note, I can just drag and drop it on the mural and let's type an idea. Something I really like is doing daily video check-in. So doing a quick video check-in with your remote team members really help you feel comfortable when you can see their face as well. If I want to add a new sticky note, I can do that really quickly by just double-clicking on the mural. So I can do next idea could be take an online course together. Great idea. You could also take a photo of your outfit of the day. Could also be a good idea. If we continue looking in the menu here, we'll see that next thing we have are shapes and connectors. So if I would like to add an arrow here, maybe we could do daily video check-ins together with the word of the day. So if I would like to connect these two sticky notes, I just drag the arrow on top of the other sticky note. You can see that it turns blue when I'm hovering over the sticky, so that means that they're connected. So if I start moving this other sticky note around now, you can see that it still stays connected with the arrow. And I can also use these different shapes here. I can drag this one out here. So this could, for example, can change the border color. I can change it to be dashed. So this could be like a frame where I would like people to add ideas on certain topics, for example. The next thing we will find here are the icons. So we have a very extended icons library that you can add icons from. So icons can be great to use if you want to tag different types of content. I can drag out the thumbs up here if I would like to give a thumbs up to virtual lunches. I can also change the color, so make it something more colorful. And this can also be used, for example, maybe I want people to add videos in this area, so then I can drag out this video icon. I can color it a little bit more, like it looks like a YouTube icon now. So icons can be used for a lot of different things. So super excited about this new feature. Next thing we will find in the menu are the frameworks. So I'm going to go in and describe frameworks a little bit more in depth later, but I just wanted to show you quickly for the context that here you can find different frameworks like Bullseye, 3 lines that you can use as a base for your activities. And finally here in the menu you will find an image search. So this is an integrated web search for images. You're actually searching the Bing image search online when you open up this option. So here I can search for all images available on Bing image search. So I think I want to find an image of a conference call. So what does a typical conference call look like in the past? So here we have a typical conference call in the past, like you have different people leaning over one phone, talking to the phone, not really seeing the people outside. So it's pretty funny. And then we have like more like what it is today with video conferencing. You see the face of everyone. So that's pretty cool. And you can also add images from your desktop or a folder on your computer. You could also pull in images from different pages on the web. So if I have an image in a blog post, I can, for example, copy and then I can paste it into the mural using Control-V. But I also have this folder here where I have some images that I want to add to this mural. So I can just drag and drop them from my folder into the mural. And you can see that these images are a little bit bigger than the other images that I added. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make them smaller. So whenever you have clicked once on an element, when the element is selected, you will see that you get this little blue dot in the bottom right corner. So if you pull this little blue dot, you will be able to change the size of your elements. And I can also do this with other types of documents. So I can, for example, drag in PDF documents, but I can also add PowerPoint documents. So this is a way you can share files through Mural. So when you add a file to the Mural like this, you will get a thumbnail to the file. And then you can actually open up the file and look at it in a different browser window if you just double click on it. So this is also a great way for sharing files. You can also download it from here. But you can also add different types of files and multimedia content from the web. So if I would like to add a video to my mural, I have a video open here now. This is a video of Mural on the Microsoft Surface Hub. So the Microsoft Surface Hub is a huge touchscreen. You can be like 4 people working in front of the touchscreen at the same time. So Mural developed an application for this powerful computer. So if I would like to add this application, this video to my mural, I can just go ahead and copy the URL. And then if I go back to my mural, I can paste this video on my mural using Control V. So if I use Command V on Mac, Control V on PC, I can paste it into the mural. And this also works with regular web pages. So here I have a blog post, for example, on 5 easy steps to introduce new collaborators to Mural. If I want to add this to the Mural, I can just copy and paste the URL in the Mural as well. So now we'll have this link over here as well. I will actually go ahead and share this link with you in the chat window as well as we speak. So if you want to get tips on how to onboard your collaborators, you can go to this article. So you'll find a lot of great tips on what information to start sharing with them. Like besides sharing this webinar, we also have other learning resources that will help you onboard your collaborators. And another thing I would like to show you quickly to add some content to your mural. Maybe you already have a document or a spreadsheet or maybe even an email where you started brainstorming ideas for your session. I actually have a spreadsheet here where I have several ideas that I already wrote down before. So if I would like to pull in these ideas into my mural, I can just copy all of them at once. And then when I go into the mural, I use Command V again. I can paste the different cells as separate sticky notes. So you can see that each of the lines in the spreadsheet turned out as a separate sticky note. So that's a great way to add many ideas at once into the mural. And this also works if you have a list of ideas in a Word document, so it works exactly the same way. So you can see that these ideas were pasted in this thing that we call an area. So as you can see, when I move the whole area, the ideas move with it as well. So if I try to move out the ideas, you can see that when I add them again, the area turns blue. So this means that the ideas are sticky, that they're now stuck to the area. You can also change the title of the area to something like remote activities. And if I want to add a new area, like I can either drag it out from the framework section here. You can see the two first options here are freeform area and grid area. So you can add areas like that as well. But I can actually do this the other way around as well. If I mark several sticky notes at once, right now I'm holding down the shift key and I'm clicking on all the sticky notes I want to copy into my spreadsheet again. So while I have several sticky notes marked at the same time, I can see that I have a formatting menu that appears above the sticky notes. So if I choose the last option, copy as text, I can actually transport these ideas into the spreadsheet again. Voila. So this is a great way to share ideas after your session and export them to other formats. So you can actually paste this in an email or a spreadsheet or a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation even. And let's look at the formatting options as well. So as you can see, while I have sticky notes selected, I get this little formatting menu above the sticky notes. So if the elements have the same properties like the sticky notes have, like all the sticky notes have the same properties since it's the same type of element, I can mark this as well. Then I will see that I can edit all of them at once. So if I want to change the color, I can change the color of all the sticky notes at the same time. I can also add a border around the sticky notes if I want to. I have some different text options that I can change. I can change font family, I can the text bold, italic, and also choose the alignment. And then you can also choose if you want to increase and decrease the font size. If I select one sticky note, I will say that I also have the option to switch to sketch. So while I have a sticky note selected, I will say that I can sketch something. So let's do an eye something. So I recommend you to use the sketching tool to make your ideas as visual as possible. And you will also notice that you get one type of formatting menu when you click once on an element, but you can also right-click on any element to get more options. You can choose to move them to the front or to the back. You can also choose to go into edit mode, and you can also choose to duplicate them. And you can also try this when you're on the mural. So if you click directly on the mural, right-click, you can add sticky notes, you can add titles, comments, areas, and a lot of more things. So you might have noticed that I've been moving around quite a lot in this mural while I was talking. So I will talk a little bit about navigation now. So navigation is one of the most important capabilities that I recommend that you practice a bit to be able to use Mural to the fullest. So right now I'm using a trackpad, and if I want to zoom in and out on the trackpad, I just pinch with my fingers. It's the same thing if you use iPad as well. And if I would have been using a mouse, I would just have to scroll on the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. If I want to pan, move around the mural, I can just slide with 2 fingers on my trackpad. This will make me move from side to side. If I would have been using a mouse, if I want to move around the mural, I would have to hold down the space key first. When I hold down the space key, you can see that the mouse turns into little hands. So now I can grab the mural to move from side to side. So when you log into Mural, you will actually automatically be assigned trackpad mode or mouse mode, depending on which navigation option you're using. But you can also go in and change this by yourself if you go to account settings by clicking on your avatar in the bottom left side of the mural, and then you can click on controls. So in controls, you will see that you have the option to choose trackpad mode, and you can also see a short explication of how to pan and how to zoom in this mode. And you will also see the mouse mode. And you have to remember to save changes before you go back. But I'm going to continue in trackpad mode, so I'm not going to do that right now. And you will also see that you have a mini-map in the bottom left side of the mural. So you can use the mini-map also to navigate, to click on different parts of the mural. And you can also choose the plus and minus sign to move in and out. But let's look at some of the collaboration features. So I'm going to ask Grace to come online now and help us go through how to collaborate in Mural. Hi, Grace.
Hi, Amelia. Sure thing. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Perfect. Okay, so I will start now with the collaboration feature demo. So once you enter the mural, you can see the avatars on the center lower part of the mural, or the members that are online at the moment. Everyone has their own view in Mural. I can ask my collaborators to follow me, and once they will be following me, and I can show them around the mural the way I'm viewing it. I can also follow my collaborators by clicking their avatar. As you see, my screen, the border of my screen has just turned pink. And now I'm not touching my trackpad. Amelia is presenting what she wants me to see. So this is very helpful to be engaged with your team, even though you are remote. In order to stop the following mode, you can just need to zoom in a bit on with your trackpad, and you will have, again, control of your own screen. Now let's go now to how you can share your mural. Oh, as you can see now, Amelia is now following me, so my border turned purple. So now I can show exactly what I wanted to and pinpoint any particular item that I want to make known. Now we're going to start with our share feature. It's this pink button on our upper right corner. Once you open this feature, you're going to see 3 options. You can share the edit link by here generating a link, or you can invite people by setting up their email account. You can put multiple emails an email account separated by a comma. This will give your collaborators edit rights for this mural. But you can also share a view link. You can create a link and send it to your collaborators in order to just view as a presentation, and without any editing rights. There's also an embed option. As you can see, the owner of the mural has to authorize the view link and the embed link. So this can be done. We have internal chat per mural, which can be used as a general way to keep in touch with your collaborators that are working on this mural. So here is, you can find it right next to your share button. There's two spots that says chat. You can work through the general discussion of while you're working in the mural. And as you can see, right next to the chat section, there's an activity mural. You can see who edited the text area. You can see who deleted what. So this is very helpful to keep track of the actions in your mural. All right. Then another good thing to do if you want to perhaps say something specific about a sticky and not want to use the chat function, you can right click and add a comment, or you can also drag a comment from the toolbar and into an item. But let's say I want to add a comment and say, where could we do this? Which Slack channel should we use? And the great thing is that you can tag your collaborators directly, and even though if they're not online at the moment, they will receive, you will receive an email with notification that they've been tagged in a comment in Mural. So here, this is how an item with a comment looks like, with a little 2 purple circle. My favorite feature, collaboration feature that I'm going to show to you is the voting. You can start a voting session by going into the square with the dot in the lower corner. You can click on it and select Start a Voting Session. This is a very important piece of information here. Every voting session is overwritten by your new one. So make sure to always copy your results and make a little area or section in your mural with those voting results before you start a new voting session. It's okay for now. I don't need my old votes, so I'm just going to go ahead and start a new voting session. Here I can select the number of votes which I would like my collaborators to have. I think 3 is enough. All right, let's start. So everyone will have this instruction card being displayed in their screen once a voting session has been started. So let's go ahead and vote. I really like this idea of taking an online course together. I think that could totally help you come together. Oh, and I love hack nights. Virtual lunch dates sound fun. I can turn it into virtual happy hours too. Why not? All right, those are my votes. I will give it a bit more time to see if Amelia has been done voting. And once I am done, want to end the session, I can go back to the square, which is now pink because it's ongoing, and hit End Voting Session. I'm gonna hit the end. And as you can see, I can get the results, everyone will, on the screen. So I can see who the voters were and how many votes each idea had. Perfect. So now what I would do is select the voted ideas and make them separate. Make sure I can see which one were the most voted. Right, perfect. These were the collaboration features. I will now give back the screen to Amelia so we can talk a little bit about how you can manage your email account. Amelia, are you ready? Let's see.
Yes, you bet. Let's take some questions first. So I'm gonna take back the screen just quickly. Thank you, Grace. Okay, so we got a question from Griselda who was wondering, can you use Mural to present? So yes, you can actually do that. So I wanted to go ahead and show that. I'm just gonna set up a little bit here first. So as you can see in this webinar right now, for example, we're actually using Mural to collaborate in real time, but we're also, Grace and I are both looking at the Mural through our browser, but it's also possible to share Mural through a webcam. So you can choose to follow me function to present the Mural to others over a Skype call without using the camera of the Skype call, but you can also present using the Mural itself. So I wanted to show you a great feature that you can use for presenting murals as well. While I was talking, I took the time to add a couple of more areas. So now we have an area for remote activities, the first one we added. We also have an area for brainstorming, and then we have an area for voting results. And if we now look at the icons here in the top right, we're going to see that we have an outline. So in this outline, we can see that we first have the remote activities, and then we have the brainstorming, and then we have the voting results. So if I go ahead and click on these, let's put them in this order. So if I first go ahead and click on the first one, brainstorming, I will automatically be taken to the brainstorming area. And then if I clicked on remote activities, I will be taken to remote activities as well, and then I can go directly to voting results. So this is a great way you can use Mural to present your activities. And Grace, do we have any other questions?
Yes, I have your question, what is the best way to share your Mural content outside of Mural? Is there any exporting option?
To share Mural outside the application? Sorry, yes. Could you read this question again?
Yes, is there any way I can export my content outside of Mural?
Yes, you can do that. So once you're done with your activity, you might want to export the Mural to share with others. So if we look on beside the name of the Mural, you will see that you have an arrow. So if you open up this arrow, you will see that you have a new context menu. So in this menu, you will see that you have the option to export the Mural or download Mural files. So if I choose to export the Mural, I will see that I can choose to export it either as an image or as a PDF. So when I choose either of these options, after a couple of minutes, it depends how big the Mural is. If you have added a lot of images, it might take a bit longer. But once the image of the Mural is generated, you will receive a link to your inbox, to your email inbox that is associated with the account, from which you can download the image of the Mural. So it will be a huge version of the Mural. It will be around 9,000 pixels. In total. The resolution depends a little bit on how much of the Mural you used and how many images you added. But this is a great way to share Mural outside of the application. If you choose to download Mural files, Instead, you will receive a zip folder that contains all the images that you added to the mural and a text document that contains all the text you added on sticky notes and all the links that you added to the mural. Great. So do we have any other questions, Grace?
Yes, I have a question here from Mike asking if they can share an app. Like if, for example, he would be working on a spreadsheet. I'm thinking he would like to incorporate that in a mural. Is that possible?
A spreadsheet. Yes, I just demonstrated before that you can copy and paste content from a spreadsheet into a mural. So if you mark several sticky notes at once, you can go ahead and copy and paste it into the mural. It will then be added as an area. And you can also do this the other way around. Did this answer the question, or were you referring to something else?
Awesome. I think it was a part of it, but maybe what about copying the link of the Google Doc? Would that work? Would that give us a thumbnail?
Yes, of course. If I want to share this mural, when you share a Google Doc, I don't think it works sharing the link in the browser. I think you have to go ahead and choose the share link to the Google Doc instead. But you can also share these types of links in a mural. I think what you have to remember though is in Google Docs, for example, you have permissions for different persons. So you might have to enter their email address here first so that they're able to access the link. But you could basically just copy the link to this spreadsheet and paste it into the mural. So this will be added as a link that goes directly to this mural. So once you have the link to the spreadsheet here, you can just ask people to access the spreadsheet through here. You could also do this with murals. So if I would like, now I'm doing it with the same mural, which doesn't make sense because if you click on this link, you will end up in the same mural. But if you would like to share murals with people, you could actually copy the link to the mural and paste it in here. I would like to take a moment now and talk a little bit about permissions and the structure of your team, your workspaces in Mural. So I'm going to go out to the dashboard to do this. So right now we're looking at what we call the Mural dashboard. So this is the overview of all the rooms and murals that you have in your workspace. So if we look on the upper left corner, you will see the name of the workspace that you're currently inside. So right now we're in the workspace called Mural Workshops. So you can think about the workspace as the main folder, and inside a workspace you have several different rooms. You have private rooms, you can think of them as subfolders where you can keep your murals. And you also have workspace rooms, which are kind of public folders that most people in your team could have access to. So inside each, this is the room called Weekly Demos. So in this room you can see that I have several murals. If I'm the admin of a workspace, if I click on the arrow beside the name of the workspace, I will see that I can go in and look at workspace members, and I can also go to manage Mural workspace. So here I can go in if I want to manage the privacy settings of the members of my team. And here I can also see a list of all the other workspaces that I'm part of. Oops, I didn't want to do that if I want to go there. So I'm going to go back since that wasn't on purpose. Whoops. Let's go and find the link to the mural that I was currently inside. I think I have it over here. So I just need to open up a new tab, and then I'm going to paste the mural, and then I'm ready to go again. So you actually have access to manage the permissions of your members in your workspace on 3 different levels. You can manage the permissions on the workspace level, and you can manage the permissions on the room level, and you also have some permissions you can manage on the mural level. So if I click on workspace members here, I will see a list of all members of this workspace. So now I can see that I have different types of settings that I can do here. I can choose if I want them to be able to create rooms. I can choose if I want them to be able to see the public workspace rooms. And I can choose if I want them to be able to publish templates. And I can also assign other admins. It might be useful if you need more help to manage the murals that you have in your team. And if we look at the room level, if you look at this room, for example, that is called webinars, if I click on the arrow beside the name of the room, I can see room settings. So if I go in here, I can also see a list of all the members in this room. So I can also choose to, if I want them to have permission to create murals in this room, if they can invite more people to this room, or if they can duplicate the whole room. Worth noting as well is that if someone is a member of a room, they will automatically have access to all the murals inside this room. So if I invite Grace to this room that is called webinars, she will automatically have access to all the murals inside the room as well. So if you have a mural that you're particularly careful about, you might just want to invite people to that mural and not to the whole room itself. So if I want to see who's in my mural, I can either just click here on the list beside the share button, and I can see a list of everyone who's in this room, this mural, sorry. And then I can also click on the arrow here to see a list of all my mural members. So at the mural level, I can choose if I want people to be able to export the mural or duplicate it or invite more people. I also have a new option that is called view only access. So if I click this option for Grace right now, Grace will only be able to view this mural. She won't be able to edit anything. So this is useful if you want to present your mural to someone without letting them edit anything. So I will uncheck this in case I need Grace to do anything more during this demo. Otherwise, she will be pretty locked up. So I wanted to take a moment before we do more questions towards the end of the webinar. I wanted to share some use cases. So I'm gonna bring on Jim to present some use cases of other things you can do in Mural.
Or give you some ideas how you might be able to use it in your own work. Let me zoom out on this mural, and you can see here we did a brainstorming session on that same topic. So this might be kind of the conclusion. If the group of us here today were to keep going, we might end up with a mural that looks something like this. You see the team up here in the upper left-hand corner. On the left, we did a brainstorming session, and this is labeled as such here in this large header. But if I zoom in, I can see some of those brainstorming ideas here. So this is kind of unstructured. Everybody's just getting their ideas out. And then we use those areas that I just showed you. I showed you that area feature here to cluster the ideas. So there were some themes that started to emerging. And if you know about affinity clustering, you can use these areas and affinity clustering to find patterns. So games and playing, fun things was a pattern that emerged over here. And then we did a vote, and here are the voting results. We copied those sticky notes that got the most votes. We can have another discussion about them down here. And if I move further down, we even put things on a small timeline. Over here on the left, I included some links. So this is kind of my reference section or further links section as well, too. There's even a PDF document in here as well, too. So if I zoom out, I can see there are 4 areas, distinct areas to this mural. Over here, the brainstorming that we did. Then we moved to affinity clustering. Then we voted and prioritized. That's really, I think, the best way to think about Mural. It's not about doing one activity, but actually using the large virtual space that we give you to actually chain activities together, tie separate steps together. If you're doing design thinking, for instance, you can do personas and empathy maps and journey maps and have that all in one place. And of course, everything once everything is digital, it's shareable, it's archivable, it's traceable. You can go back and see who said what. When, and you have a record of your session, and it's a visual record. But because it's digital, you can loop in other teammates who may not be on location or at the same site with you, and you're working with a distributed team. So a brainstorming session, I think, is something that we see a lot of customers doing, a lot of people doing brainstorming sessions in Mural. But you might also do things like design thinking activities. In this case, this is an experience mapping activity. Again, you'll see here we used the entire mural to do 4 different activities. We looked at a stakeholder map here in the upper left, then we did some personas, then we did some empathy maps. But here in the center, we have a journey maps. In this case, we were looking at going to the supermarket by bicycle. And what would Jake's experience be here? So Jake is our persona, and we can look at the steps and the feelings and the pain points at each stage in his experience of going to the supermarket by bicycle. Notice here we also included the images, so we have this kind of rich, high-fidelity description of his journey from our research as well, too. And then we can even move into brainstorming right down below, you know, based on the opportunities and pain points, what ideas can we come up with? So again, zoomed out, you know, I can't see all of that detail, but I can see that there are 4 areas here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can then zoom in to see the detail. If I wanted to see this empathy map, I can zoom in. So again, you'll be moving around, panning and zooming quite a bit in Mural at different levels of fidelity. At this level, I get the overview. If I zoom in a little bit more, I see the section. If I zoom in more, then I can see and work with the content. So we can tend to think about things in kind of 3 or 4 different levels of scale that you can work at. Let me show you another example. This is related but slightly different than experience mapping. This is something called user story mapping. And in this case, we started with personas down here at the bottom. We kind of started at the bottom and worked our way up the mural. We were looking at an agile team, was looking at an app for a teacher and instructor to manage homework broadly. And we had these 2 persona. This is the teacher, the instructor, and Emma is the student. But then what we did here at the top of the mural is we looked at the journey or the interaction that the instructor would have with the application. They have to log in and search and browse and view the list and all the set steps and sub-activities that he has to do. But what we were ultimately trying to do was sort our user stories. So if you know agile development for software, that breaks things down into individual stories, which is a great way to manage a project because you can see progress and you can manage the development effort a lot better. But you also lose the big picture. So what user story mapping does is it tries to give you the big picture and look at stories, the functionality that you're developing in terms of the user journey, which is here at the top. And from this, you can then derive epics and have conversations around releases and things like that as well, too. So user story mapping, great to do with a remote team. We have a little case study on our blog where we did that with one of our customers, a team that was distributed between Europe and the US, and we were able to effectively collaborate visually in a user story mapping exercise. One more quick example, we've also worked with things like Lean, and in this case, Lean UX. We partnered with Jeff Godhealth to do some Lean UX activities. We were looking at coming up with hypotheses in this particular example, and we did this exercise with a completely remote team. So the team was literally scattered around the world. And we were still able to move from, you know, what are the business outcomes, the metrics that we want to change, to the persona, to the user outcomes, and then to the features. So we actually worked back from the outcomes to the features. And then we wanted to come up with experiments. The first part of coming up with experiments in Lean is to come up with a hypothesis statement to be able to then validate your assumptions. So we created these hypothesis statements. And again, we did this collectively as a team on a conference call, but used Mural as the platform, as the background, as the whiteboard to do all of the visual collaboration. So there are lots of different ideas and use cases that you can imagine to use Mural for. We typically see people doing things like design thinking, innovation, creative work, design work as well too. You can think about putting mock-ups here in Mural. We've very often seen people put you know, screenshots of an existing application or of a new application, line them up in Mural so that you can see them all back to back. Effectively, anything that you might do on a flip chart or a whiteboard in the office, you can think about doing in Mural and more, because you can add video and links and images as well. You can think about extending the whiteboard not only into your browser but into the digital space.
Okay, thank you for that, Jim. So now I think we have time for some more questions before we end. So if there's something you would like to ask us, please go ahead. Grace, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have a question here. Give me a second. Asking if there is a way that we can move murals from one team to another.
Yes, that's totally possible. So if you want to move a mural from one team to another, I'm going to go out of this mural actually to be able to show that more clearly. So let's look at this demo mural that we have here. It's an old one. So I could move this to another room. So if I want to move a mural to a room in the same workspace, I can just click on the arrow up here and I can choose move. So then I can choose, I can first choose in which workspace I want to put the mural. So here I have a list of all the workspaces that I'm currently part of. So if I want to put this mural in the same workspace that I'm currently inside, right now I'm in Mural Workshops. So I will choose this one. I could have chosen another workspace as well if I want to. Before you move a mural to another workspace, you have to make sure that you have access to create murals there. Then you can also choose in what room you want to put it. So I could put this in the webinars room, for example. And then I just have to press move mural and I'm ready to go. It's also possible to move whole rooms to other teams. So I have to go to this room because I'm not the owner of the other one. So when I'm the owner of a room or an admin, I can also choose the option here to move room. So then I can move this to another workspace. I can choose in the list here again. I just need to make sure that I have permission to create new rooms in this new workspace where I'm moving the room to. Otherwise, I won't be able to do that. I hope this answers the question. Anything else, Grace?
Yes, I had an interesting question. If you can share this with your external clients, you can share Mural.
So the way that Mural works right now is that when you launch the share option, if you invite someone to be able to edit, that person will be part of your team. So if you share someone to be able to edit, they will be counted as a member of that team. You can also share a view link. Then it's just a view link that someone can go in and look at, and that won't make them part of their team.
So just to be clear, if you share the edit link, it counts as your workspace member, and if you share the view link, it doesn't, correct?
Yes.
Awesome, great. I have another question. Do we have time for one more?
Yes.
It's all about being efficient with time. Is there any type of keyboard shortcuts that we could suggest to use?
That's a great question. Let's look at the shortcut list. So my favorite shortcut, I think, is Control D. So if I use Command D, I can duplicate something in the mirror. So right now I'm duplicating this link like endlessly because I think it's so much fun. Another common shortcut that I often use is Command C and then Command V to paste. But you can also find a list of more shortcuts. If you look on the question mark in the bottom left side of the mural, you will see keyboard shortcuts. So if I click on this list, this will launch a view of all shortcuts available in Mural. So here you can find general shortcuts like undo, redo, copy, paste. But you also have a couple of very useful shortcuts for navigation. So if you use these shortcuts, you will be able to, for example, Command 0 will make it possible to fit the view to the contents. If you include Alt, you will be able to view actual size. So I recommend you to go in and study the keyboard shortcuts a bit to make it possible to use Mural to the fullest. We're running towards the end of the webinar. I just wanted to check with Grace if we had any more questions before we end.
We actually have no more questions, but perhaps demoing a bit about the template feature could be helpful. Do you think
Cool.
we have time?
That sounds great. Yeah, absolutely. I will show quickly how that's done. Okay, so this might not be a great example, but we can do this. Okay, so let's add a framework to this mural. So we could add, for example, we can add some assumption grid, which is good for prioritizing ideas. So now we can say that in this mural we now have a brainstorming session. We can say that this brainstorming session could be step 1. Let's throw out the number. And then if we throw out number 2, that would be activity number 2. So we would start doing some brainstorming, and then we do an assumption grid. So what we have right now could be the start of a template. What we call a templated mural is a mural that has a layout that is prepared for doing collaborative activities, like it could be a design studio or a workshop or just a design thinking activity or something else. So if I would like other teammates on my team to be able to use this exact same layout to do activities afterwards, what I could do is if I click on the arrow beside the name of the team, I will say that I can publish this mural as a template. So then I can choose to what name I want the template to have, then I can choose to publish as template. So what this does, when I publish a mural as a template, it will be added to the templates option. So when you're looking at the mural dashboard, you will see that you have the option template here to the left. So in this template section, I can see a list of all my different templates that I have access to. So here we have an agile planning and prioritization, we have quarter planning template, loads of different templates. So what this is useful for is if someone from my team wants to start using the same mural that I created for an activity, a template is like a frozen version of a mural that no one can edit. So if you want to start using a template as a mural, you can just click on the arrow on the top of the thumbnail, and then you can choose create mural from templates. If you're already looking at the template, you will find the same button in the upper right, where you can choose create mural from template. So this will take the non-editable template and turn it into an editable mural, so you can start using it in an activity with your team. So I think we're running out of time, so we're going to have to end today's webinar. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And I just wanted to point out that if you look in the lower left of the dashboard, or the menu here on the left, you will see you always will have this question mark available. So if you click on the question mark, you will get a link directly to the Help Center, where you can find more articles and guides that will help you get started with Mural. And you can also click on the pink link here to get in contact with us at customer support. So click on the pink link here if you want to get in touch with us and start talking. Here you can also find some quick links to other useful articles that you might find useful. So go ahead and explore the help options here. And if you find this webinar useful, go ahead and invite your collaborators to next week's session. We're doing this webinar every week at noon Eastern Time. So it's open for everyone, it's free, and you're able to ask your questions. And you can also go to our YouTube channel if you want to watch recordings. So if you search for Mural on YouTube, you will be able to go to our YouTube channel where you can find loads of webinars and videos that we posted here before. So go ahead and try that out. So with that, I'm going to end today's session. Thank you very much, Grace, for collaborating.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Okay, so thank you everyone, very much everyone, and have a great day, and hope to see you around in Mural. Bye-bye.